Thursday, April 22nd is Earth Day. As citizens of this planet, we should all care about caring for our world. Today, Monica Burns gives us practical ways to teach and encourage students to be good caretakers of the world we live in. Every teacher will find an idea that they can use. So let's get started. This is episode 734, 5 Ways to Teach About Earth Day.
Welcome to the 10-Minute Teacher podcast, hosted by author, educator, speaker, and mom, the Cool Cat teacher, Vicki Davis.
So where do we start, Monica?
Well, I love this topic. I taught in a school that was a magnet school for environmental stewardship when we went one-to-one with iPads. And so my first tip, though, has nothing to do with devices. It has everything to do with worms. And so my first idea is for composting in the classroom. If you've thought about it, considered it, it is super doable. You can actually order worms off Amazon if you don't have a bait and tackle shop nearby. It doesn't smell. I can speak to the power of composting with students.
So it doesn't smell? Because that was going to be my question.
Everyone's question. No bugs, didn't smell. It smelled just wonderful. So much so, I would say that when we went to a zoo for a field trip, one of my girls said to me, Miss Burns, it smells just like our composting bin when we walked into the rainforest part of the zoo.
Awesome. So I love that idea. And they can get the information, I guess, online in lots of places about just starting that. Of course, that would be outside, starting that. Mm-hmm. And getting that going. Awesome. Okay, what's your second idea?
So survey students for their high interest topics. Sustainability might sound like a big word, but kids might be curious about wind turbines. They might be curious about recycling. So survey your group and find out which topics they're most interested in.
So just a Google form and just ask them and create a class project?
You bet. It's a great way to kick off a PBL unit with the survey, figure out what kids are most excited about.
Awesome. Okay, what's our third?
So our next tip is to explore gardening, whether that's hydroponic gardening in a school. That's something that happened in my school community where they were growing all sorts of fun things, lettuce, tomatoes, you name it, inside of the school or outside the school if you've got space to do it in a community garden.
Oh, you know what? We have 5-gallon buckets going and have started a garden at our school, and the kids are so excited. They love to go take care of their plants.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
That's a great thing. Okay, what's our fourth?
So our fourth one, just like we're Zooming today, Vicki, to connect with an expert, which you can do virtually easier than ever. So you might head over to a place like Flipgrid and their virtual field trips. You might reach out to an expert on one of those high interest topics, bring them into your classroom, beam them in virtually, and have your students ask lots of questions.
And what a great way to celebrate and connect, and sometimes I've seen scientists that'll connect with you where they're actually out in the field. Mm-hmm. These smartphones let us do that. That's awesome. Okay, what's our fifth?
So our fifth kind of goes along with being out in the field, which is to visit spaces virtually. So you might take students on a virtual field trip like Google Arts and Culture. I was showing off the Grand Canyon, walking tours that you can find on there this morning to a group of educators. So you can visit lots of spaces virtually that you might not normally be able to take a field trip to.
Fun. Do you have a favorite? I mean, you said Grand Canyon. Are there any other favorites you have?
Yeah. So I love the Machu Picchu one, which takes kids out to a space at a high elevation you might not be able to climb up to together. So any place where you're having conversations about climate change, weather systems, you name it, you can find some 360 content online, whether Google Arts and Culture, AirPano, there's a whole bunch of wonderful free resources for that.
Fantastic. Okay. What's your sixth?
So 6 is all about making community connections. So as nice as it might be to connect with an expert who's far away, there are most likely people in your community who are working on recycling initiatives, who are thinking about energy and making smart energy choices. So find some folks locally. Maybe they can visit your school or you can go out and visit them if that feels good. But it also helps reinforce to students that this isn't some faraway idea, but very much close to home.
Oh, that is so wonderful. Connecting with your community is so very important. Okay, what's our seventh?
So our seventh one goes along with all 6 of these, which is to share sustainability stories. So maybe it's a story after an expert interview or about composting in your classroom, but there's so many wonderful digital tools, whether it's something like Spark Video, which I love. I've done some work with their team and love all the Spark tools, right? So you might have kids make a video, capture what they've learned, and share that sustainability story with a larger community.
Awesome. So these are 7 fantastic sustainability ideas that I think every classroom can use. Now, if you were planning Earth Day now for a class, what kind of things do you think you would look at doing first?
So I would say for a quick win is to ask students to popcorn out, brainstorm, think, pair, share a topic that they're curious about. Now, you know your group of students if you're listening in, right? So you might prompt them with a couple vocabulary words. You might put up some pictures without much more context on a big screen in your classroom and have them write questions about what they see. So it's a great way to get their wheels spinning, especially if they don't have a lot of background knowledge, and this might be something new for them.
Well, this is such a great idea. I mean, there's even so many things that we can do if kids are at home. You can tour your backyard. You can have, I've seen backyard bingo. I mean, there's lots of great ideas that can incorporate this, but, getting kids out and understanding how to appreciate and care for our earth is just so important. As we finish up, Monica, what is your final encouragement and message to educators everywhere about Earth Day this year?
So Earth Day isn't just a science or a social studies topic. It can be brought into all of the content areas. So if you're listening in and you're working towards particular ELA standards, it's a great time for a persuasive writing activity or to read informational text. So thinking outside of the box when it comes to the content area, sustainability, Earth Day fits into all the things that we do.
Thank you, Monica.
Thank you.
If you enjoyed today's 10-Minute Teacher podcast, why not subscribe on iTunes? You can also catch up with Vicki on Twitter at CoolCatTeacher or level up and learn with her blogs and free resources at CoolCatTeacher.com. Thanks for listening.